Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Julie. I have 5 children ranging in ages from 9 down to 1. I've gotten a few questions lately on a recent video about how I deal with my kids fighting, arguing, bad attitudes, how I deal with all of that. And so today I'm going to just discuss that a bit. I've written down a few notes on things that we have tried, things that we do to try to make our kids perfect. Just kidding. But trying to encourage them to get along. I have no tried and true, like this thing absolutely works and you need to do this, but I will just let you know some things that we have tried. We are always trying something new, different ways to go about it because it's normal. You have kids, you have siblings that live together and have to share, and they're not always going to get along, and that's how it goes. But let's go ahead and get into this video. I want to instill in my kids kindness and love that comes straight from their heart. I don't want them always to be thinking, I need to be kind because my mom said so, and if I'm not kind, then I'm gonna get this discipline. And discipline definitely has a place too, but the end goal is their heart being good, not just fear of what will happen if they do what's wrong, but this kindness coming straight from their heart. So yes, my kids fight. Not every day is bad, but some days I feel like you guys have been arguing and fighting all day long. Just stop. Sometimes I want to just yell, stop. Now, I definitely don't always step in. Often I can hear in the bedrooms or in the other room, I can hear them arguing. I let them argue. They need to learn how to resolve these differences and these disagreements. And so if they are arguing, I let them argue. If their arguing becomes physical fighting, or if I hear name calling or hateful speech at all, or if it's bullying from the older kids on the younger kids or younger kids to the older kids, any of those things start to happen, if it really starts to escalate, I definitely will step in. I did get a question as well on what to do if the kids are fighting over toys. If it's a very clear one kid came in, grabbed from the other kid, I'll say, give that back. The first child had it. But for the most part, by the time I hear that they're fighting over toys, they're both fighting and yelling at each other. And so in that case, I step in, I take the toy away, and often I'll take the toy away for the rest of the day. That's just a very easy solution. Okay, you're fighting over this toy, the toy's gone. We try every day to tell our kids, we are a team. Our family unit is a team. We need to work together. Nothing bothers me more than if my kids are playing with somebody else that's not in the family, and one of my kids teams up with their friend against one of their siblings. That bugs me so much. I'm like, no, your siblings are your best friends. You're gonna be friends for life. Our family is a team and we need to work together. So my older kids, I tell them, you need to protect your younger siblings. You need to defend them. You need to help them. The younger kids, my younger kids, tend to be so independent and not want help from their older sibling, which is fine if they're independent, but sometimes they're like, no, I just want mommy to help me. You can't help me. And I try to encourage them, let your older sibling help. They want to help. They can assist you. Let them help you. Sometimes my older ones talk so rudely to their younger siblings and just talk very down to them for their immature and childish behavior. So my older ones will be like, no, why would you do that? Why would you spill that? You're being so silly, blah, 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 blah. Like they just get so like, making fun of their younger siblings. And so Andrew and I will say to them, how would you like it if we talked to you? So, we'll explain like your behavior, like I understand you think you're a big kid, but your behavior to me is so childish. So what if I talk to you like that? If you asked me, oh mom, how do I turn on the stove? And I said, wow, how do you not know that? Like that's so easy. You're so whatever. And I'll talk just for a minute, I'll talk to my older kids the same way they talk to their younger siblings. And I say, how does that feel? Like, you're just younger. It's understandable you don't understand these things yet. You need to understand that about your younger siblings. So I try to, what if I talk to you like this? And Andrew and I have joked sometimes, like, we should spend a day just talking to our older ones like they talk to their younger siblings, so they can really feel what that is like to be always put down like that. We haven't done it, but we joke about doing it because sometimes they are just so rude to their younger siblings. Something new I've just recently been trying is, instead of scolding the kids for their behavior, is just kind of questioning their actions, questioning their heart. And so if they are name calling to my son is name calling to his sister, I'll say something to him like, well, like I just mentioned, I'll say, would you want that done to you? Like, would you be okay with someone doing that to you? Or I'll say, I didn't expect that from you. And so instead of just putting them down and saying, you shouldn't do that, you know better, blah, 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 I didn't expect that from you. And that's a real, like, they hear those words and they're like, oh, you didn't expect that. And they start to really question their character and their, just really questioning their actions. Or I'll say, was that really a good choice? And so again, rather than me just putting them down for their behavior and putting someone else down, I'm kind of putting the ball in their court for them to juggle a bit. Like, just think about that again. Like, how can we do that better next time? Is this really who you are? Like, are you mean or are you nice? And just really just putting the ball in their court and letting them kind of reach inside themselves and think a little bit more on their actions. We definitely quote Bible verses all the time. Ephesians 4:32, be kind one to another, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you. So understanding Jesus has forgiven you, he loves you, you can in turn forgive others for their behavior. And so other verses too will quote to them and say this verse to me and just think about it. Why should we be acting better than this? Another thing we'll do is if they're being nasty to each other, I say stop right there. If they've just made some condescending comment, I say stop right there and tell that sibling something that you like about them, which is a good exercise. They have to think, okay, and sometimes they'll just say, I like your hair. Yeah, that's a common one in my house. And I'm like, no, think about their character or something that they've done, or think about something that you like about them. And so sometimes they have to think for a little bit and then they'll turn and tell their sibling a nice comment to kind of make up for the rude comment. We tell our kids, like I said already, they need to be friends with their siblings before they have other friends. And that is important to us, that you need to be kind and friendly to your siblings if you're gonna go out and be nice to your friends. And so if they are being nasty to each other, we'll say, okay, you can't have friends then. If you can't be friends with your siblings, we're not gonna let you go out and have friends, which is not entirely true, but we will limit the time that they are able to be with their friends if they are constantly unkind to their siblings. So one common way we do this is they love going to church and playing with their friends. And so if they've had a particularly nasty week, I'll say, okay, on Sunday when we go to church, after the church service is over, you are gonna be by my side or by your dad's side the whole time until we go home. You're not going to go play with your friends because you have not been friends with your siblings. You're not going to be able to play with your friends. So that is one like punishment that we have given them if they're having a particularly mean week. Sometimes we'll send them to their rooms. Sometimes they just need that time alone. And I think with us homeschooling, they are together all the time, which I think is so good. And I think it's allowing them to have a really close relationship, but it also means that they get tired of each other. They get tired of me. I get tired of them. We all get tired of each other, which is why we have this, like, we have a quiet time in the middle of the day where we have time alone away from each other. But even still, sometimes if they are fighting, I'll say, you know what, you need to go to your room. You just need some time to simmer down. You just need time to be alone for a little bit. We also have, I would say for probably the past year, we've been doing something called Happy Hardened Helper. And I learned this from Jordan Page over at her YouTube channel. Fun, Cheap, or Free is her YouTube channel. And she mentioned that they do this. It's Happy Hardened Helper. So every night at supper, all of the kids have to say something happy from their day, something hard, and then a way that they were a helper. And so it's really interesting to hear what they come up with when they give us their list. We go around the table and everybody shares these 3 things, even Andrew and I do. And it's not like, oh, my favorite part of the day was this, my least favorite part of the day was this, which we've done that in the past, but I really prefer this new method we're doing. So the last part of that is helper. They need to tell everyone in the family a way that they were a helper that day. And our thing is, if it's taking you a long time to come up with a helper, because sometimes it does, then I'm going to give you an extra job to do after supper, and that's going to be your helper. And so they don't want that result. So even before the supper hour, like through the day, sometimes they're like, okay, what can I do to be a helper? And then they'll find something to do for helping their siblings or helping me out. And I think it's a really good reminder for them to be doing acts of service, helping each other out. And so doing this exercise at supper has helped remind them to be helpful. I think having lots of family time together where you are enjoying doing something together can build a close relationship. So even through all the hard times they have and the fights they have and all the arguments and, you know, everybody doing their own separate thing, we try to encourage doing things as a family together. So mealtime, we all sit together, we talk, we enjoy that time together. We have movie nights, we have family game nights. Sometimes we'll have a family meeting, so we'll all sit down and just kind of chat about the way things are. That's what Andrea always likes to say. We just need to talk about the way things are. And we'll all just, you know, open up. We want to hear from the kids, like, what's going on, like if they've had a really hard time that week, or they've just had bad attitudes, like what is going on. And we just have this kind of family meeting time where we just open up to each other and they can tell us what they're going through. No judgment. We'll just talk it through. And those close bonding moments can, I think, help those worst times not be as bad, because you still have that good close relationship foundation. The last thing I want to say, and I know we all know it, but it's a good reminder, I need to remind myself of this all the time, is that the kids do learn so much from us. And sometimes they fight and argue and yell at each other, and I'm like, Andrew and I do not do that. Like, we do not fight. You did not learn this from us. But I know that I can work on the way I talk to the kids and not talk to them in a condescending way, and talk sweetly to them. And I know that I can work on that, because what they see in us definitely plays a part in how they talk and how they act with their peers, including their siblings. So those are just a few things that we have done. Let me know down in the comments below, how do you handle your kids fighting? I am up for any advice and any tips you guys have, because I'm always willing to try something new, because as much as I'm telling you all these like solutions, the whole siblings fighting thing is still a never-ending problem. But anything I can do to try to encourage agreements and love and kindness in our home, I am all up for that. So thank you guys for watching today's video. I'll see you next time. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and share it if you have a mom you know that is going through this same thing. I think all moms, if they have more than one kid, are probably going through this thing. I'll see you next time. Bye.